I was just gonna say, as we do have confirmation what our first map is gonna be, it is probably to be expected for a TvP. It's something that maybe on the Protoss end, if they're facing an aggressive Terran, they don't really want to play on. But yeah, we are gonna go on to Everdream here.
Yeah. And again, depending on the matchup, we have seen these gold bases, I mean, the rich Vespene gas bases come into play, and we'll see if that happens in this series.
To be determined. But speaking of determined, here we are on Everdream. LE. LE, of course, standing for liquefied egg. Liquefied egg. That's you know.
Every other one is egg. Just throw egg in there.
Yeah. Okay. I can't think. In the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a red Terran, all the way from the land of Korea, but the original guardian of Guadalajara himself. He is going to be the player whose title is Juan told me to put TY's teacher here. He is the Shinling Dom farmer himself. Everybody get your Doritos ready because it is SpeCial.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Korean Protoss representing Afrika Freaks, as well as the organization known as SHIELD. It is Stats. What does SHIELD stand for?
Something defense.
Yeah, it's like Homeland Security, Earth Defense. Yeah, it's like, why not?
Security, human.
Oh boy.
Inhuman. Earth.
Nick Fury. So I've casted a lot of SpeCial. I've casted SpeCial versus Nee recently. I've casted SpeCial versus Nina. I think in those best of 3s and best of 5s, SpeCial has proxied maybe like 5 out of 7 times.
4 or 5 times.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So you know, we do see it in game number 1. Whether we see it again in this best of 3, we'll see, as he is proxying a Vrax and denies the scout as well, forcing the shade to stay in the natural.
This is actually a very interesting. Oh, he's doing it! He's doing a TY build! Like he's doing a TY build! Basic Ghost Academy! Okay, so the point of this build is typically you want to see barracks, get a ghost out, try to EMP the probes, and at that point they just evaporate the probes, dude.
Oh boy, he's going full TY right now. I love it. We have SpeCial whipping out the special builds, if you will, and still denying.
And this is not very suspicious. Yeah. If Stats can go in there, he would be able to see that it's not a 1-1-1. But it's, as he said, SpeCial is just doing such a good job of denying scouting information. He denies it again.
Yeah, like if he did get in there, he would be a bit suspicious. He could maybe even think there's a proxy like Starport or something for like a fast liberator or something along those lines. But yeah, right now he has no idea, and he doesn't have any vision of that corner of his base.
Ghost is almost done. Light, the ghost is almost done.
The ghost is almost done. Oh my god,
it's being rallied.
He's gonna do it. He's getting in. It's coming.
The ghost is out.
EMP! How many workers?
And now just click.
Yeah.
He gets 3, he gets 4, as even without the EMP, it still is a 2-shot here. EMP just makes it a bit quicker. And 7 probes have gone down. Meanwhile, we do see the move out. The boys have been pulled.
Wow.
The Hellions are here. And this is very aggressive coming out from SpeCial. He could try to get a bunker up, or he could just use these SCVs for zoning. That he is. He depowers so much. More importantly, he depowers the Robo.
Yeah.
And now he's coming into the mineral line. Another ghost has died, but more and more probes have already gone down. There is a decent number of stalkers here, and Blink is complete, but eventually Stats is just going to run out of ground. Very nice force field coming up here, denying so many Marines from coming up, splitting it up, splitting up the forces.
And I do
24
believe
probes
that,
have already gone down.
Yeah, Stats knows that he is held. He cancels the shield batteries. Nicely done. Stats, he's on 3 Nexuses. So he will be able to macro up behind this, even though he is at half the worker count of SpeCial. But SpeCial is not done. He's still pushing into the natural.
Yeah, he knows that Stats cannot split his forces too efficiently here. He already redepowers this Robo facility and gateway. He's just rallying everything he can. He's building a bunker back at home for defense, all right.
Yeah, I love that. Just in case a counterattack happens once SpeCial is cleaned up. And yeah, he just forces Stats in his main base. He can't get down to his natural.
No, he cannot, but the kiting is really good right now for Stats. He is just shaving off the Marine count one by one, and yeah, it's working out really well for Stats. He does have the blink, so a lot of micro potential.
The Nexus did get pretty low, but it should be cleaned up as Stats finally regains control of his natural. But more workers go down.
Yeah, a lot of workers have gone down. One thing that worries me a little bit for Stats is that it seems like he cut SCV production a little bit there, as he's ahead, but I feel like he could be higher ahead.
Yeah, he's only ahead by, what, 14 workers. Stats with 3 Nexuses and Chrono Boost, he can catch up if given time.
And he can, but on the flip side of that, SpeCial has created a very, very solid defensive setup, giving Stats a run for his money there.
Yeah, and I do like that Stats, he knows this, so he hasn't really invested too much into his army. He's focusing on his economy.
And he is teching up, going to be getting that starport completed. And do we see a tech lab? Yep, some tech labs being made right now. Stats, SpeCial rather, he's getting ready for round 2, and he should have a pretty beefy force for that.
Yeah, and I do love that SpeCial, he did just manage to start a Ghost before the Ghost Academy goes down. So he will have
ghosts.
Yeah, 2 Ghosts, 4 EMPs, and that could be crucial in the upcoming couple of minutes.
I've said before, I'll say it again, EMP is a little underrated. At least it's a little underrated. Well, maybe not in the top end, as you do see a lot of pros utilize Ghosts very well, but yeah, for now, I really love what SpeCial is doing right now. He is, you can tell that he's really putting a lot of thought right now into what can possibly kill me. How do I prevent that? As getting them missile turrets for detection, just going to try to prevent any DTs potentially.
Yeah. And SpeCial does have to be a little bit careful, since Stats does have blink and he does have an observer here. So if Stats sees an opening, he could try and blink into the main base of SpeCial, but decides not to go for it in the end. He is still just out here.
And there are 3 tanks.
Yeah, it would it'd be suicide if they were in range. And yeah, we do kind of continue, and already, as we were saying, Stats, he's ahead in workers, like 3 Nexuses. Chronos, that's all you need.
Apparently, look at this, already saturating his natural as well as his third base on the way. Here comes a drop coming up from SpeCial. SpeCial, you gonna drop? Yep, gonna be just going to the main. The stalkers are here. The stalkers are here. Stats is moving down. SpeCial sees the stalkers and turns around. Very quick reactions coming up from our Guardian of Guadalajara.
That could have been just disastrous for SpeCial if that was picked off, but nicely done. He does spot it, he does back off, he scans the natural as well, just to make sure he knows what exactly is happening. He sees all the gateways, he sees the upgrades, and it looks like
he should.
Yeah,
he should be going for it very soon.
Yeah. With 4
we'll keep
tanks,
a tank home for defense.
4 tanks, 2 EMPs, like this is looking to be a strong army. And Storm only just started.
5th tank as well. This is going to be a very tough ask for Stats to defend against this, but I would give him a little bit of credit. He is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yo, is he pulling the boys?
But then again, some things are just a little bit, he is.
Yeah, he's pulling.
Some things are just a little bit impossible, even for Nick Fury. He's pulling the boys for a flank. He's pulling the boys for a flank here. He is, yeah, he's just trying to make sure that Stats cannot escape here.
I love this by
Although
Stats.
will.
Yeah, he's maneuvering. He's trying to buy as much time, pick off as many units on the way as he can. Trying to delay the army as much as he can. And SpeCial, he's just going right for the natural.
Yeah, we do see Stats trying to go in for a bit of a counterattack. There is nothing back at home for SpeCial for the time being. But now we might go into a base trade scenario here.
Yeah,
SpeCial with this very strong 2-base all-in.
I'm very surprised by Stats' choice, but I mean, I guess it could be the right call. He always has a recall available to him, so Stats is trying to do as much damage. Oh my god, the storms!
Such good storms. You do see the SCVs already out, and a decent chunk of the bio did get taken out. The EMP did go down, so these High Templar are out of energy, but they're...
Yeah, there's another one on the high ground, and that's all he has to do. Like, I think Stats, he's just gonna buy his time.
SpeCial is so all in now.
He has 2 High Templar in his main base, and he's just gonna wait and try and store up as much energy as he can and try and land the perfect connections. And we'll see as it looks like SpeCial is trying to get up the end.
So all in.
He lost one.
He's trying to... The Ghost is about to drop. The Ghost is about to drop. If it can EMP that Templar, but here comes the storm. And it didn't quite take out the bio, but it did zone SpeCial out for a little bit. Stats getting a ninja in the north.
Yeah, and he killed the ghost with the storms, and now it's just bio and tanks here. Looks like there is another storm.
There's another storm. There are another 2 storms even. Okay, just 1 storm. And the bio is again just out. This this force that Stats has over in SpeCial's main is not looking too good. Stats is buying even more time. There's another storm available to him. Here comes the recall. There is an Archon. And here comes this storm, not quite wiping out the bio, but the chargelets are coming in. A lot of friendly fire there, but there's just not enough army here for Stats.
Yeah, and it looks like SpeCial has done it.
Maybe Stats is still going to look to utilize this this ninja base that he's got. The Gateway's wordy power though.
That is true. So Stats right now, he does have a High Templar to the north. So if he has a good enough storm and he lands it on the bio, then he can still come back in this. But a lot of it came down to when that recall happened. Stats had 1 storm left. He went for it and he completely missed the army. If he had landed on the bio, then maybe he could have cleaned up. But now this is looking so difficult for Stats, especially since the upper base was found.
And here comes another storm. Being forced to use it there is not at all what Stats wants to do.
Yeah,
and SpeCial, he can just turn around. He's moving his army. Couple of gateways still here for Stats. We do see some cannons going up, but there are 2 tanks, and that can sometimes be enough. We do see SpeCial.
God damn it!
You see SpeCial moving here. To, again, just try to rebuild. He doesn't have any SCVs, or he has 1 SCV.
Oh, the storm!
He's gonna be relying on Mules for quite a while. He has 1 storm left. But he's playing with your Stats. You don't want to risk your... uses the storm on the tanks. That is not what you want to happen. And GG is called. SpeCial is gonna take game number 1. Wowee.
Wow, and that all started
such a good plan
with Proxy Ghost.
It did all start with Proxy Ghost. That was very good planning coming out from SpeCial, but very good reaction from Stats. Sometimes, man, Stats came close. He almost made me believe, but sometimes math just makes things impossible.
Yeah, I do believe that Stats, he almost turned that around, and if 1 or 2 of his storms were just a little bit more on point, I do think that he would have been able to hold at his main base. But things didn't turn out in his favor. Even though he was able to kill all the ghosts, there was just too much there, and the splits and SpeCial's control was just on point, able to dodge the storms, and yeah, takes game number 1.
I kind of feel like just pure Charged Archon would have served a little better there. Because the thing that was really worrying about that army, I think, towards the end, despite the high Marine count, was the tanks. So if he had the Archons to just sort of act as a bit of to sort of tank some tank shots, have the Chargers to be a bit of a buffer, the Archons can come in, and, you know, SpeCial definitely overstimmed a couple of times towards the end. It worked out for him in the end, but yeah, I think that was an opportunity there for Stats to utilize the splash damage on the Archons. It really doesn't take that many to kill Marines.
Definitely. It would have definitely helped him. Instead, he was banking more on those Storms, but there was definitely an opportunity for him to turn those High Templar into Archons instead and try and go for that.
He didn't go for it.
Yeah.
But again, a little bit. I will always say Stats definitely knows much better than me, especially when it comes to Protoss. But it's one of those things that you have to wonder about.
It's one of those things where there's like two ways to go about engaging the army, right? Like Storm or Archon, and he went with Storm.
And speaking of two ways, here we have it. Spawning on Eternal Empire, L-E-E-L-E, Ile, which, you can figure out what that acronym is for here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. It is going to be a red Terran. He's got to be very happy about that victory. I got to tell you, I'm going to speed this up. He is coming off of his Battle of the Americas championship, his Royal Road. He is the Guardian of Guadalajara, the Shinling Dong farmer, all the way from Mexico, now in Korea. Going to be representing Cosmos Esports. Everybody get your Doritos for Juanito. It's special.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Korean Protoss getting proxy racks once again. He is representing Africa Freaks. It is SpeCial. SpeCial Stats.
It's just going to be a single Reaper this time, and Stats does, in fact, scout out the barracks. This could just be a fake out here for SpeCial.
Yeah.
He's more than likely going to float this home.
Yep, he has done this before, hoping for an overreaction, but it does look like Stats isn't really falling for it. Nicely done there, is still committing to his natural nexus. And yeah, we've seen SpeCial pull this out before. And there we go. He's lifting up. He's going back home.
Now, I'm going to ask you, since you have experience in this, specifically with SpeCial, but the way I'm sitting, I would imagine that this sort of proxy lends itself more towards going mech than going bio. Is that what SpeCial did?
From my experience, and he did do this against Neeb specifically, he did transition into more like Ferrari mech style for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but he then
for a little bit.
Yeah, like he still, like, his end goal was still like bio. Like, it's not, he didn't play full mech with it or anything like that. As we do have a Cyclone on the way, which would be nice defensively, and we'll see how SpeCial goes from here. As he's just throwing down another Rax. He's just sticking with his regular bio. 2 Raxes actually.
Oh, okay then. I was gonna say it's definitely pretty impressive for SpeCial to go from McLaren, as you call it, Ferrari mech or battle mech, into bio, because typically Terran players, you pick one or the other and you stick to it. It's not a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah. And I mean, this does slow SpeCial down. Like, making your first racks across the map, it means, you're late with your stim, you're late with your add-ons, since it is floating back home. So there is that delay. He was hoping for a bit more of a reaction to come out from Stats. He typically does this after he proxies. Even if it fails, he does this again just to make his opponent be a little bit more on edge. Yeah.
Making sure that your Protoss opponent can't counterattack, because it's going to take a while for the Terran player to really get set up defense-wise.
Yeah, definitely. As Stats, he is being a little bit defensive himself. As his namesake suggests, he is throwing down a couple of shield batteries. He is taking up though and getting a pretty fast third base.
Yeah, and we've seen, if just from the previous game, sometimes 3 bases are all you need to establish an economy.
Yeah, definitely. You could also argue that last game maybe stats he droned up a little bit too much. We saw that he had more probes than SpeCial as the push was happening. So yeah, if he had scouted what was happening a little bit sooner, if he had triggered that this all-in was coming, maybe he could have prepared a little bit better defensively. But we'll see how this game goes, as we do have some liberators coming out. Now, do you think this is like to join the army in a push, or is he looking to deal some harassment damage?
That's definitely the question. There can go two ways. I think it would probably be stronger if it joined the army. Multi-prong in this case, especially with a player as attentive of stats, probably won't. You're not going to get too much value there, but just getting the Liberator in to zone out Stats' army can really poke in with your tanks, with your Marines.
Yeah.
It's just having a stronger push is the name of the game.
Yeah, we'll see. As I mean, there is also the option of like maybe SpeCial tries to like double prong, like the Liberator hits one place and his main army pushes out another, and hoping for one of those areas to deal more damage. As yeah, here we go. We do have a pretty strong push coming out from SpeCial. He pulled a couple of boys as well for repairs on the tanks.
Yeah, it's Liberator, not Liberator. Cyclone is looking to go a little down, but speaking of Liberator, it is going to be multi-prong coming up here, as well as a scout. That's a lot of gateways being bloomed by stats, and this should make SpeCial sweat a little bit.
Oh, I love how he blinks southwards, meaning that he does have a better angle at sniping those tanks and reinforcements as well.
Or medevac. There we go. There aren't going to be any medevacs here, and SpeCial. This push is on a timer right now. It has to do damage. Otherwise, it really can't sustain itself here.
Yeah, and it's so difficult because if the Marines move forward, that means it exposes the tanks behind to the Blink Stalkers. So he does have to be careful.
Bunkers. Not quite the Clem build, but and very interesting variation to say the least. Pretty good angles coming up here, but the tanks are still a little exposed as they start shelling down the space. Liberator of SpeCial did go down, but frankly, I think he's outlived it, or he's outgrown it. Here comes a sandwich coming up from Stats. Here, very nice target firing with the tanks, but it's not going to be enough. GG is called, and Stats ties up that series sideways 1-1. Or should I say 1-1?
Sideways 1-1. GG. And again, I loved what he was doing with those stalkers. Like, he blinked southwards, and the entire time as that push was happening, he was killing all the reinforcements. Like, slowly Marines were trickling across the map, and they were all just getting cleaned up by those stalkers, and the sentries were just buying enough time to stall and so that he can reinforce and collapse on the army of SpeCial. That was beautiful to see.
Indeed, it very much was. Positioning is the name of the game, and this is definitely one where you can learn from how to position. That is, it was absolutely important for that one, for Stats not to be able to cut off those reinforcements, and then that's not the end of the world there, but if that happens, as we've seen it happen there, you have to make sure that your push does damage, and does damage quickly. You're not going to be keeping that army there for any length of time. We do see a result. Scarlet has taken out Astrea, and we'll move on to face Zest in the semifinals. So we're going to be casting that after this one. It will be held for us. Over here in chat, I see Patty Mac more than Stats ? As Patty Mac did beat Stats, or not Stats, SpeCial.
Yeah. So Patty Mac
in the Spicy League, I believe.
In Battle of the Americas earlier today, Patty Mac actually faced SpeCial in the semifinals and took a game off of him.
Yeah, we'll see here if that'll be hammered down, whether Stats can clutch out the ace match, or if SpeCial does in fact take out Stats. But here we have it over in the spawning in on Nightshade, LE, otherwise known as Belladonna. LE. LE, of course, standing for Lime Iguana. No, wait, let's see. Lime Enclave. Lime Enclave. That's when you find a plantation and it's only limes. Here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spotting in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, he is the guardian of Guadalajara himself. Not quite the galaxy, but Guadalajara. It's basically the galaxy. He is the Shinling Dong farmer. He is Juan told me to put TY's teacher all the way from the land of Mexico, but now playing in the land of Korea. Here we have representing Cosmos Esports. It is SpeCial.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the Korean Protoss player tying it up 1-1 in this best of 3. Once again, with a building in his natural, we have representing Africa Freaks, it is Stats. This time, not a Rax.
Yeah, this time just going for the good old classic eBay block. And there's a lot of health at the eBay.
Yeah.
Abandoned it at about 90% of completion.
Yeah, as Stats would say, this is standard play. As earlier today, Stats was a pylon blocking the Zerg player. We have
Stats
SpeCial.
would say, Jongbangmyeon.
Stats would say his favorite noodles. So
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a bit more annoying for the Protoss player. You want to be more defensive in the early game compared to Zerg, and yeah, getting the natural at the third base location is not really a realistic option.
Yeah, there's obviously when it comes to Zerg, like you can spread creep and try and connect it a little bit faster to make it more feasible to defend those bases. But for Protoss, that's not really an option. So yeah, we do have Stats focusing down that NG Bay, getting his natural up and running, as once again he's going for a Twilight Council opener.
That is interesting. He did do it multiple times in the series. In the series specifically, he did it every game so far. But you know, it's Nightshade. I was kind of expecting something a little bit more cheeky, something a little bit more robo based. But we're just gonna go for good old gateway units for the time being.
Yeah, and Stats, he's really loving his blink openers. And I don't blame him, right? Like, you can get a lot of map control with Blink Stalkers. Nicely done there, is able to save his worker from the Reaper.
And, you know, both players, they get a good look at each other's base there. They definitely don't want to risk anything on the ace match, so just checking for proxies wherever available. Ooh. We do see SpeCial going for a 1-1-1, and this time going to be utilizing that tech lab.
Yeah, so we could see Banshees, we could see Ravens. Ravens in general are really nice with your main army, especially in this matchup, but
2 more axes.
Yeah, some Banshees could hit pretty hard.
Ooh. There we go. It is going to be a Raven this time, probably with tanks. Is Stats going to go for a Raven tank push? It can definitely be very powerful, especially for 2 base all in, as SpeCial not looking to get a third anytime soon.
Yep. So it's going to be on Stats right now to try and scout. And here we have a hallucinated scout on the way. So he should be able to see the opener. He should be able to see everything in the main base of SpeCial, unless SpeCial somehow snipes it before he gets there. We'll see. And we'll also see what the shield's response will be as he gets in.
Raven's about to pop. The Raven is about to pop, and Stats is going to have a good look at that. Should know what's coming up for him, and actually going to be it's going to be a mine bio push, as we do see the add-on swap. There's Stim, there's the Marauders, and things This can definitely be worrisome for SpeCial. For stats, let's take a look at the reaction. We do see a Forge being thrown down as well as Charge. So stats is actually non-deterred. He is pretty confident in himself, which, again, he should be. He is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I would like to see, I guess, a stand be made, like either a couple of shield batteries being thrown down, as well as this push is going to hit pretty hard, especially with the Marauders, as well as the Mines, the Raven as well, opting to go for charge lots. I think I like that, especially against a bio-heavy army, but we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard response. You know, not pure chargelets, but chargelets in addition to something else. All right, only getting 2 mines, so SpeCial not looking to really get a minefield up. He's going to be relying mostly on the bio. As he sets up for a drop, funnily enough. Honestly, I do not know what SpeCial is going for.
Yeah, I thought it would.
I mean, I get that he's gonna go for a timing attack, right, with mines and with medevacs and bio, but right now it just looks like to be setting up a drop.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd because the same. I expected him to be pushing together with everything, but it looks like he's getting a drop ready for multi-prong. Meanwhile, finally, we do have the buyer pushing out. At the same time, there is a Raven outside the third base of Stats looking to poke in whenever he finds an opportunity for a little bit of auto harass. Oh, there are a couple of smokers in position.
The main, but yeah.
And there is
Stats
Blink.
Already sees this.
Yeah,
and here comes a bit of auto turret harass. Not really going to be getting any probes here. Might be able to get some stalkers. Got to be careful. SpeCial does manage to keep the Raven alive.
Yeah.
As a move out here in the middle of the map.
And the Widow Mines.
That mine drop is coming into the main. Where's the reaction? Stats, you got to pull. Stats does manage to pull away in time. But loses a little bit more Marines and a little bit more probes than
at the same time, SpeCial is pushing to the third base.
And he already gets a lot of these probes. Very nice snipe on that medevac. Going to be preventing an evacuation here for SpeCial.
Yeah.
And might be able to get the other one. It is trapped between a rock and a hard place, I tell ya.
Rock and a shield, if you will. And oh my god, Stats, he lost 18 workers, which is a quite large number of workers, but despite that, he's only down by 6, and we've seen Stats come back from a higher deficit.
Absolutely. He still has his 3 Nexuses. He still has Chrono Boost, using them on every single one. Once he gets his economy back up, things are not going to look too well for SpeCial. He's going in for round 2. This time he's going to have some Marines with him, but man, imagine if he just had all of this in one push rather than 2 separate. Yeah,
it looks like he goes into the main base once again with those Widow Mines, but Raven even, but yeah, it does keep it alive though, so he will be forcing Stats to keep a couple of units at home. But as you said, like, I don't think enough damage was done to Stats with that push. Like, SpeCial lost a lot of army, and
Stats is already ahead on workers, and now here comes the Warpism harass. So trying to split up his forces here to be able to get it. There is the missile turret, but Stats, he has a recall available. He's not as threatened with this drop as SpeCial was.
I would also say Stats doesn't feel very pressured to deal economic damage. Like, I feel like this is kind of a bonus. Like,
absolutely not. Yeah. He's just trying to keep SpeCial on edge a little bit, keep some pressure on him so he doesn't go for another push.
Meanwhile, it does look like the Raven went into the third base once again. The Widow Mines went into the third base once again, but they did get cleaned up, and the medevac is now stuck in between.
8 probes have gone down, which isn't bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But Storm is on the way, and a push is going to be coming off of SpeCial. Are there any Templar for Stats? Yes, there are, and they are building up energy. SpeCial has a couple of ghosts out waiting for his EMP upgrade, and this is not actually a very good army for Stats.
Yeah, I feel like he's really lacking when it comes to Zealots, at least. Like, he needs some more beef to his army, and there are Zealots actually hitting the third base of SpeCial.
And it forces every single unit of SpeCial to come back in. A lot more SCVs are going down. And yeah, it's very unfortunate. I feel like if SpeCial just committed to his push, he would have hit by now, and might have possibly taken out stats there and then. It very much depends on the storms, and actually still does depend on these storms.
Yeah, it's going to all depend on storms and EMPs, as the upgrade is finally finishing up for Juanito, and he does have quite a number of ghosts with his army.
That he does. He has 2 of them right now, but they have quite a bit of energy. Stats does have his Templar in the Warp Prism. Storm drops are very, very they're very safe in these Warp Prisms. Is what I'm trying to get at.
One of the EMPs
does get a couple of EMPs.
Yeah,
but not getting the Warp Prism to shield batteries. Working on overtime, but now they are out. And SpeCial, he is playing cautious. He is not just going to throw his army into a choke point here, trying to bait out this Warp Prism as he can.
Yeah. Does force the cancel on the 4th base. Meanwhile, though, Stats has bought enough time that Colossus are now coming out, 2 on the way, and Disruptors as well. He's going to have all of the AoE.
Even more SCVs have gone down. I didn't even see what happened there.
Yeah.
And again, just a rocket of shield. SpeCial cannot really move in here. We are in a stalemate.
Yeah, and I feel like the longer this goes on, the better it is for Stats. SpeCial is still down in workers.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, his economy is still a little bit battered and bruised, so he's trying to look for an opportunity. The ghosts are coming in.
Oh, it's a stop of the Warp Prism. 2 Templar were able to evacuate behind that. Or 1 Templar was able to evacuate behind that, but gets the EMP down. And the Disruptors are doing an excellent job of zoning, but now where's the AoE? It is going to be entirely on this Templar here and this Colossus, but look at the splits from SpeCial. This is not looking too good. The bio is starting to get thinned out, though, and Stats should be able to chase SpeCial back.
Yeah, the EMPs were so good for SpeCial, but again, he waited too long. That there were Colossus and Disruptors as well, and there was 1 key High Templar at the very back of the army that didn't get EMP'd, was able to storm all over the army.
And I think what really brought it home there for Statsu is, we were saying it earlier, he finally warped in a massive round of Zealots there.
Yeah, it was looking good for SpeCial, and then those reinforcing Zealots came and flanked him, and now he's on the back foot.
Now they're counterattacking, They're about to... These Disruptors do look a little bit vulnerable. They are going for it, but Stats just trying to get some value, risk-reward, as it were. Should be able to take out these, takes out the mines, and that's still pretty good value coming out from Disruptors.
Yeah,
you want to make sure that you have the zoning and not your opponent.
If Stats doesn't apply more and more pressure, then, SpeCial, he's getting his 4th base up and running.
That is not his 4th base, actually. He lifted his main CC, and that's how you can really tell that SpeCial is in a lot of trouble economically.
Yeah.
Does send a run-by out, or I guess more of a drop out on the middle of the map, just trying to make sure that Stats cannot attack into him while SpeCial gets his economy up and running.
Yeah, I feel like what's really missing here for Stats is a Warp Prism to reinforce this army. He's just here with what he has, but it may be enough as he forces a lift off at the 4th base. Meanwhile, that drop did hit the 4th of Stats.
Oh, Storm is coming in, but not really gonna take out the bio. Stimming forward and back. Does rush to snipe that Nexus. But here comes a run by of Zealots coming into the 3rd base of SpeCial. Not even committing all of them. He knows that the bio reinforcements are going to come in and clear those out. And Stats ready for round 2.
That's been the bane of SpeCial. Like, those Zealots just keep running into his 3rd base constantly, and oh my god, he's going to get a kill.
See if he gets time to CC. Does rush to get the CC and just backs away. He is just looking to starve out SpeCial slowly and painfully.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, that wasn't the 4th, that was the main CC. So now he's down to 2 CCs. SpeCial is... Oh god!
Does rush to get the snipe. SpeCial does, and that was absolutely key. But this is still a pretty high DPS army with a lot of beef to back it up for Stats.
Yeah, and again, the Zealots are coming into the 3rd base of SpeCial. There's nothing here to protect it. There's no bunker, there's no mines, and it's just going to force SpeCial more and more all in. He's coming home.
Which is And you really can't blame him for doing that. He knows that
Yeah.
that's going to be a tough spot to crack. So SpeCial, his tournament life is on the line here for both players. This is the ace match, and he's just trying to do whatever to keep himself in the game, really relying right now on stats making a mistake, which can happen.
Yeah, it can happen, but when we're talking about a player like Stats making a mistake when it comes to his defense, that's doesn't seem very likely. We do have SpeCial trying to drop again and again into the natural, trying to pull Stats apart and cause him to apply focus elsewhere.
He ain't buying it. He ain't buying it. Good EMP coming up here. The Purification Nova's not quite getting the connections. Is it going to be enough, though, here for SpeCial? Blinks forward, and that might be a bit of a mistake there for Stats. We'll have to back away and wait for Purification Nova to go off of cooldown.
Yeah, it does look like Stats will finally clean up this drop in his main base. Meanwhile, more Zealots are hitting the third base of SpeCial as the main armies collide.
Very good EMPs coming out here, but this army of SpeCial so overstimmed. But Stats is just going to back away.
Yeah, and the Zealots are still in the third. Oh my god, they're still wreaking more and more havoc and finally get cleaned up after killing 8 workers.
4 more on the way. Already being rallied.
God damn it. At the same time, we have Stats expanding to the upper right-hand corner of the map as well. It does look like SpeCial
He's setting up a multi-prong.
Yeah. SpeCial has to be so careful here.
Yeah, just trying to do a little bit of economic damage here and there where we can. Trying to force Stats into him, but I feel like Stats just has enough and pulls in, pulls away. Stats
At
does
the same
with his,
time, yeah, Stats
Zealots.
goes into the fourth, kills it.
And now SpeCial is on practically one base.
Yep.
His natural is being mined out. His third base is halfway gone.
I mean, there is a drop in the natural, and he will be able to get a kill on this natural of
Might
Stats.
be able to get the upgrades.
Oh, that
Come
would be actually pretty
you wanted
big.
90 upgrades. You wanted 90 upgrades SpeCial, and he does actually get one of them. Can he get the other? He does. He does. But Stats, he is looking to go in. This is not the position you want to move into, Stats. And we were talking about making mistakes, and that wasn't a game-ending mistake at all whatsoever. But if SpeCial can keep forcing these out of Stats, he should be able to take he should be able to just hope for the best there.
Oh god. Oh no!
That might just be the killing blow that Stats is looking for here. Another Purification Nova taking out so much bio, and this is looking to be the end of our semifinals. What a way to end it. The boys are being pulled, and that might be too much. GG is called. And there we have it. Stats. Is this his first time in ESL Pro Tour? I think it is. Looking to walk the royal road here already. Going to be our first finalist of the evening.
Wow, GG, well played. SpeCial, he fought as hard as he could, and he almost made a couple of things happen, but in the end, he did get taken down by Stats. I feel like the biggest bane of that game was all of those Zealot run-bys. They just dealt so much economic damage, and they just kept hindering SpeCial and forcing him to continue to come back home and defend, and keeping his economy low. And we're just getting right into the upper semis.
Indeed, these players have been waiting for a while, and I feel like we're in the semifinals of revenge matches here. Like, SpeCial trying to get revenge on Stats for JSL, and now we have a rematch: Zest versus Scarlet. Who I will remind everyone, when Scarlet won her first ever ESL Pro Cup Asia, it was a 3-0 versus Zest. So Zest might be looking forward to this, might not be, but it's a chance to redeem himself here.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we'll see. As you were saying, Scarlet and Zest, they've been waiting, or Zest especially, he's been waiting quite a while for this series. As I quickly set up like casting tool.